They called him Thor in ancient Germanic tongues, Thor in our speech now, born in storm and lightning. A god born of sky, wind, and raw force. Red-bearded, broad-shouldered, his presence is thunder made manifest. He is protector of homes, of fields, of the fragile boundary between order and chaos. At the heart of his legend pulses his hammer, Mjölnir, the tool that never fails, the weapon that returns to his hand. Not just for battle, it is used to bless marriages, sanctify sacrifices, even worn by simple folk to protect hearth and kin. In rune stones and amulets crafted during the Viking Age, the hammer appears again and again, small enough to carry, powerful enough to ward off giants. Thor moves among giants and gods, across seas and steep cliffs. There is a myth, one of many, where he journeys with a giant, hauling up the Midgard Serpent, the world's devourer, from the depths. The line strains. The sea foams. The serpent coils. Thor pulls, heart hammering. Then the fishing line snaps, and with that breaking comes a prophecy. Even gods fight and sometimes fail. The ocean's roar swallows the chance. Amid these sagas, another image. Thor in his chariot, pulled by goats across the sky, each hoofbeat echoing like thunder over mountain passes. Storm clouds gather where he goes, his voice the wind in the pines. When he raises Mjölnir, lightning cracks open the heavens. There is holiness in the hammer's strike, purification, protection, promise, but also violence. The world is held together by might, by threat, by the readiness to face night in its rawest form. Thor's story is not static. It moves through time, from Bronze Age rituals, through the migrations of Germanic tribes, to the Norse sagas written in cold, frost-bitten halls. His name shifted. Donar among continental tribes, Thunr in other old tongues. Each version a reflection of people witnessing thunder, fearing storms, and calling for strength. His worship was practical. Carved images, small idols, ritual feasts, oaths, and offerings. Farmers called on him to protect livestock, to ward off blight. Fishermen to keep seas calm. Mothers to shield children from harm. These beliefs were not remote. They were woven into each waking moment, yet bound with reverence is dread. The mythology does not shy from ending. In the lore of Ragnarök, the twilight of the gods, Thor is destined to face the Midgard Serpent again. This final battle will end with the serpent's defeat, but not without cost. Thor will deliver the killing blow, yes, but at the same moment he will succumb to Venom's poison. His victory is inevitable, his doom assured. It is the knowledge that protection demands sacrifice. That strength must be ready for its shadow. The hero's light cannot exist without darkness pressing close. Move forward, through centuries. The old gods faded from temple walls. Christian beliefs reshaped Northern Europe, but Thor did not vanish. His likeness persisted in folk tales and language and names of places. He became legend, then myth, then symbol. In later centuries, scholars pieced together shards, runestones bearing hammer symbols, mentions in medieval manuscripts, place names in Scandinavia. Today, Thor lives in two mirrors. One, the spectacle, comic books, cinema, grand myth retold in blockbuster scale. Thunder becomes soundtrack. His hammer becomes CGI lightning. The hero becomes icon. The other, the humble echo, modern neo-pagan practices, people reclaiming ritual, artisans forging Mjölnir pendants, storytellers returning to the sagas. Between smoke and craft, myth breathes again. In telling Thor's story as if in a horror documentary, one embraces texture and tension. Let the soundscape be layered, a constant undercurrent of thunder, subtle yet persistent. Metal on metal when hammer strikes, wind through bare branches, distant, almost indecipherable voices whispering in older tongues. Build visuals tight, the close detail, the bead of sweat, a carved bone relic, a child's knitted symbol, vine creeping over rune-carved stone, moonlight silvering the edges of darkness. Narration steady, calm but with undercurrents of dread, anticipation, moments of silence after storm, gap after lightning, the breath where nothing moves but you expect something to. Thor's journey is both ancient and immediate, from primordial worlds of giants and chaos, through human hands shaping myth, through centuries of belief, doubt, rediscovery, to the pulse of our own times. He stands at threshold between order and ruin, between the lived world and the unknown. We learn. The myth endures not because fear fell away, but because people kept lighting lamps in dark nights. Because they kept speaking the name of the hammer, even when gods were disavowed. Because they believed strength was not only for breaking things, but for holding things together. The final image I leave you with: storm clouds overhead, a farmstead at dusk, the wind in the timbers. A child kneels by the hearth, worn wood floors creaking. On a cord around his neck, a small hammer pendant glints, cold iron warmed by body. There is the echo of thunder. Overhead, the sky trembles. Somewhere unseen, Thor raises his hammer. Listen, protection lives in tension. Myth is the sound of something remembered. Thor is the strike in the dark, and the hand that grips the hammer even while all else quakes.